Have you ever felt worn out from trying? Like everything you believed you were building suddenly began to fall apart right in front of your eyes. You poured your heart into something, a career, a relationship, a long-held dream, and then it all collapsed without warning. And then came that bitter feeling of failure, of being abandoned, of standing alone in the middle of chaos. Have you looked around and felt like everyone else is moving forward, but you're stuck? Like doors are opening for everyone except you? And then comes the question, is God really with me? Many people carry that silent ache in their hearts, like being trapped in a deep, dark well where there's no light, where the voices of encouragement fade, and all that remains is a deafening silence. But what if I told you that God does his deepest work in that very silence? His silence isn't absence, it's preparation. He's building something your eyes can't yet see. That's why you don't understand it now. Think of Joseph, betrayed by his brothers, thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, falsely accused, imprisoned. Not for days or weeks, but for many years. Can you imagine the pain of feeling erased from your own story? Watching your dreams drift away while those who hurt you seem to thrive. Yet even in that cold prison, God never left Joseph. When it looked like nothing was happening, everything was being put in place. In that prison, Joseph met Pharaoh's cupbearer, and through that connection, God led Joseph to the palace. What looked like the end was really the beginning of something no one could have imagined. God was working in the unseen. Maybe today you're living in your own prison, not a physical place, but a season of the soul, a pain nobody sees, a chapter no one understands. Maybe you're grieving a loss you never had the chance to process, or feeling the shame of a mistake that still haunts you, or you're giving your all and still feel like it's not enough. But let me tell you something, God is still there. He often lets us walk through valleys, so we learn that strength doesn't come from us, it comes from Him. The Bible shows us that God never chooses shortcuts. He doesn't pick the qualified, He qualifies the chosen. When all you have left is God, that's when you discover He's all you truly need. When your strength ends, His begins to carry you. That's when faith becomes more than a concept, it becomes real. And the miracle begins to take shape, not with fireworks, but with everyday faithfulness. With hidden tears that turn into seeds, with whispered prayers in the night that move heaven. And the most beautiful part is this: God knows you. He knows exactly where it hurts. He's not afraid of your questions. He doesn't withdraw in your weakness. On the contrary, He draws near. He steps into your pain. He holds you up when you can't go any further. Sometimes help comes from the most unexpected places. An embrace you didn't see coming, a message right on time, a video like this one. It's not a coincidence. It's God saying, I'm still here. Now take a deep breath. Remember the moments you thought you couldn't make it, but you did. That wasn't your strength, that was grace. That was God. While you thought you were forgotten, God was shaping you. While you saw walls, He was making a way. And maybe the thing that's breaking you the most today will become the very thing that inspires someone else tomorrow. You might be going through silent training right now, so that at the right time, you become the answer to someone else's need. Because that's how God works. He turns pain into purpose, tears into legacy, and wounds into testimony. So before you say, I give up, ask yourself if you're just one step away from what God has promised. Could it be that this desert you're walking through is actually the place where He's revealing His presence to you more deeply than ever before? Don't trust only what your eyes see right now, because what may look like chaos could be the foundation of something God is building. And when the right time comes, you'll see that what seemed like scattered pieces actually fit into a greater plan. A plan called New Beginning, New Meaning, New Life. And when that day comes, and it will, you'll look back and say, it was worth not giving up. Because it was right there, in the place of your deepest pain, that God began to write the story of your greatest miracle. Waiting is exhausting, isn't it? It feels like walking in circles, getting nowhere, hearing nothing, as if time is moving for everyone else but you. Dreams that once felt alive now seem to be asleep in some hidden part of your soul. Have you ever felt like that? Watching others move forward, achieving what you also longed for, while you stay still, waiting for something you're not even sure will happen. It seems unfair, it feels lonely, but what if the waiting has a purpose? Waiting time is not wasted time, it's preparation time. It's the space between the prayer and the miracle, the place where God works on your roots, not your spotlight, because He cares more about who you're becoming than what you're achieving. He knows that blessings without maturity can become burdens. That's why He trains you first, even when you don't understand yet. Think about Jesus, the Son of God. Heaven knew who He was, yet He spent 30 years in anonymity, without applause, without public recognition. 30 years as a carpenter's son, working with wood, nails, and a hammer, living like any other man, quietly, simply, humbly. When the time comes for God to lift you up, and that time will come, nothing will be able to tear you down, because your roots will be deep and unshakable. Here's a hard but necessary truth. Not every delay comes from the enemy. Sometimes delay is protection. It's God saying, "Not yet, you're not ready. I still have things to teach you." And if your heart is sensitive enough to grasp that, you'll realize even your quietest days were the most fruitful in eternity. Want a real-life example? Think about Joanne Rowling. Before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon, she was a single mom, financially struggling, rejected by many publishers. She could have given up, but she used her waiting season to write, to push forward, to grow. And when the time came, she was ready. She changed the literary world. Now let me ask you, how are you using your waiting season? Have you been complaining, comparing, collapsing in exhaustion? Or are you digging deeper, aligning yourself with God and strengthening your faith? Maybe it's time to change the question. Instead of asking, "Why is it taking so long?" start asking, "Lord, what do you want to teach me in this?" That's the question that turns the desert into a classroom. If I may challenge you, then for the next 30 days, as soon as you wake up, before grabbing your phone or speaking a complaint, say this one simple prayer. "Lord, show me what you want to build inside me today." That's it. Say it every day with a sincere heart. Watch how your perspective shifts. Watch how you change. When you realize the waiting is holy, you stop fighting it and start growing through it. You lean in, you learn, you come alive in the stillness. And in the end, when you look back, you'll thank God for every moment, because you'll realize the wait didn't delay your life. It saved it. It made you stronger. It prepared you for something you never thought you'd be able to live. And when the time is right, God will place you exactly where you're meant to be. And no one will be able to say it was luck, it was faithfulness, it was process, it was God. And yes, there are days when you feel like you just can't go on. You wake up already drained, like you fought battles all night in your mind. You walk around on autopilot, forcing a smile, but inside you're falling apart. You feel like you're screaming, but no one hears. Like the color has drained from life, and all that's left is the daily struggle not to break down. Many people live this way, carrying a pain they can't explain. A pain that isn't physical, but weighs down the soul. It suffocates. It paralyzes. And in that moment, the enemy whispers, "You're not going to make it, just give up." But listen closely. Pain is not the end. It could be the beginning of something new. Jesus, the Son of God, went through pain. He felt agony. In Gethsemane, he sweated drops of blood. He asked the Father to take the cup from him if possible. But he didn't quit. He faced the cross, not because he didn't feel fear, but because he knew the pain was part of the purpose. The suffering wasn't the end of the story. There was life after the cross. And that same truth reaches you today. Maybe you're living your own Gethsemane, a season where no one understands, where everything hurts, where it feels like all your dreams have died. But the cross wasn't the end for Jesus. And what you're facing now won't be the end for you either. You may not understand it now. Maybe your soul just longs to rest. But hold on, God never wastes pain. He turns tears into transformation. Sometimes we think faith means always smiling, always declaring victory. always seeing miracles, but real faith is praying when there's no answer. It's getting up when you have no strength. It's believing God is working even when everything feels stuck. That's faith. That's courage. Have you ever noticed how the wisest, deepest, most sensitive people are often those who've endured the greatest suffering? When pain is surrendered to God, it becomes healing, compassion, strength, and testimony. Maybe today you're mourning something that didn't die but changed, a friendship that drifted, a marriage that grew cold, a job that wounded you, a life you dreamed of that didn't unfold. And it hurts, because we imagine, we invest, we hope. But sometimes, what we wanted most would have destroyed us if God had allowed it. He sees what you can't see. That's why He doesn't always take you out of the pain, but He walks with you through it. He holds your hand. He gives you strength to go on. He counts your tears one by one. He turns your weeping into seeds, and one day you'll reap. Do you know why you're still here? Because there's something greater than this pain. There's a purpose beyond what you feel right now, and even if you can't see it yet, it's still unfolding. It's like a seed planted in the soil. The process is dark, quiet, unseen. But in that hidden place, life begins to sprout. Remember Nelson Mandela? He spent 27 years in prison. 27. He could have come out bitter, broken, vengeful. But he chose forgiveness. He chose to turn his pain into purpose. Prison didn't limit him. It prepared him. Suffering shaped him, and that's why he went beyond the pain. He became a symbol of peace, reconciliation, and hope. You can go beyond your pain too. You don't have to pretend you're okay. But don't let pain define who you are. It's not your identity. It's a season, a process, a path. God's not asking you to be strong all the time. He just wants you not to give up. Even when you're weak, say, I still trust you. Even when you're crying, pray, hold me, Lord. Even when you're tired, keep going. Because those who keep going arrive. Those who stay rooted blossom. Those who endure become witnesses. And you will be a witness. One day you'll look back at this valley and say, it was hard, it was painful, but that's where I truly met God. Because the God of the Bible isn't just a concept, He's real. He steps into suffering. He's present in pain. He turns what is broken into healing. And that's what He's doing right now as you listen to this message. The pain you carry today is not the end, it's the beginning. It's the fertile ground where the miracle will grow. It's where God will reveal who you truly are and who He is within you. How many times have you thought there's no way out? That you've tried everything, prayed, fasted, waited, and nothing changed? Like life got stuck in a bad chapter and you can't turn the page. Maybe you feel like nothing you do is enough. The weight of disappointment has piled up. The shame of explaining to family and friends why it still hasn't worked out has silenced you. And then comes the doubt. Is this really my story? Is there still something for me? Or has my time passed? But today I want to remind you of a truth that can change everything. God still writes impossible stories. He's not limited by statistics, diagnoses, bank accounts, or the opinions of others. When He decides to move, He turns graves into stages for miracles. And that's why you're still here, because there's still a story to live. There are still promises to be fulfilled. Do you remember Lazarus? He had been dead for 4 days. 4. That wasn't a mistake. It was intentional. Long enough for everyone to think hope was gone. But Jesus showed up after everyone had already given up. And what did He do? He didn't touch the body. He didn't open the tomb. He just called out, Lazarus, come out. And what was dead came to life. Have you ever felt like Lazarus, trapped in an emotional tomb, feeling dead inside, faith extinguished, dreams buried, motivation lost? Have you ever felt like what's inside of you has already expired and no one believes in you anymore? But what if today Jesus is calling you too? What if He's saying, hey you, come out. Your story's not over yet. Because God doesn't need much to begin something new. In fact, he specializes in unexpected new beginnings. He takes what the world has discarded and turns it into a masterpiece. He lifts up the fallen, heals the broken, and honors the forgotten. And he does this because he loves, with a love that knows no limits. He loves even when you doubt, even when you fail, even when you drift away. You may have stopped believing in yourself, but he never has. He sees the potential still alive inside you, even if all you see are shattered pieces. He knows your full story. He sees the truth behind your forced smiles, hears the nights you cried without a sound. He knows the strength it took just to keep going, and now he is telling you it doesn't end here. No matter how far you've gone or how many mistakes you've made, he still wants to write something new with you. And this new part won't be a repeat of the past. It'll be something no one else will understand. So amazing, so redemptive, that even you may doubt it for a moment. But you will live it. Because the author of your story is the same one who said, "Behold, I make all things new." That idea that your best days are behind you? Forget it. With God, the best is always still ahead. He didn't bring you this far to leave you halfway. He is faithful to finish what he started, and when he completes a work, it's without flaws, without skipped steps. Everything has divine purpose. Thomas Edison failed more than 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb, but he didn't call it failure. He called it learning, because he knew the process was part of the outcome. Maybe that's where you are now, trying, failing, starting over. But if you don't give up, if you keep trusting, the light will come on. What looks dark now will begin to shine, because your effort is not in vain. God sees every step, every tear, every attempt. So please, don't close the book now. Don't think the story has already been told. When God steps into the story, he turns every chapter into redemption, even the worst, even the most shameful. He doesn't erase the past, he redefines it. He uses what looked like the end as a bridge to a glorious new beginning. And when the victory comes, and it will, you'll understand why the wait was necessary. Because God doesn't write just any ending. He writes one that brings glory to his name and healing to everyone who hears your testimony. You will live to tell the story. Every tear you shed, every breath you struggled to take, every effort you made, God saw it all, and he has never looked away. That's why this message is reaching you right now, because his love for you is still alive and unshaken. His love doesn't rely on your actions or failures, doesn't demand perfection, but welcomes you exactly as you are. Broken, tired, weary, he whispers to your heart, "My child, come back. There are still promises I long to fulfill in your life. I hold dreams for you that are far greater than your own. I want to heal you, restore you, and lift you back up again." You may not understand why all of this happened, but know this: God never lets pain go to waste. Nothing you've lived through has been meaningless. Every scar will tell a story. Every fall will lead to growth. Every loss will birth something new. Even if it still hurts, breathe. Even if it's still dark, trust. Even if it seems too late, hold on. Because God is still writing your ending, and when he finishes a story, he makes all things new. He reshapes broken paths, brings the dead back to life, and restores the hope the world tried to steal from you. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel that invisible embrace. This isn't just emotion or pretty words meant to comfort you. This is God himself reaching out to you, reminding you that you have never been alone, not for one moment. He has always been there, and he will show you that what's ahead is far greater than anything you've left behind. You will laugh again with true joy, sing again with a grateful heart, and thank God that you didn't give up. Because the best God has for you isn't over. The best is just beginning.